what was the government's motivation to expand the cost from, say, $400 million, which was the original price tag, to $2 billion, which was ultimately what it cost. I think that as far as the Progressive Conservative Party, if we were in government, we would have looked for the more cost-effective way to do it. In this case, they had the choice of getting the mid-sized car or the luxury vehicle, and for some reason, and we don't know the reason why, they chose the luxury vehicle, and that has ended up costing us a tremendous amount of money. This was a progressive conservative government, and Bradwell was the opposition leader, and we shut down every opportunity to have the principals involved questioned. They would have let us know. And clearly, even when you look at how Bradwell questioned the NDP on the whole Spudgo thing, the NDP were far more forthcoming to the Saskatchewan party than the Sask party was to the people of Saskatchewan. We always hear rumors, and I don't want to get into those rumors, but certainly the government did nothing to dispel any of the concerns that whether they were contrived or whether they were actual, they've done nothing to dispel anything that would have been untoward about this project. And just the deceitfulness too. I mean, when the project was completed and the current premier, Mr. Moe, was at the opening ceremony, he was talking about how the project was on budget and on time. And I'm thinking, you had a major land flipping scam going on in the middle of this, and you're saying this makes it on budget? I mean, did you actually budget for somebody to actually capitalize and make a ton of money on government land? This has been the problem with the GTH, the government spin. Even when the Sask party was having its leadership convention, there were Sask party candidates who were calling for an investigation, a public investigation into this. And now those same ministers, same people who are now cabinet ministers in the Moe government, have gone silent. And so there's something fishy going on. There's definitely a cloak of silence on the part of the government to hide whatever it is that they're trying to hide. To a certain degree, the arrogance of this government, and it's been very arrogant for a number of years, but it's gotten to the point now where I think they feel they can do just about anything and get away with it. They kind of made an example, I suppose, of Mr. Boyd to a certain degree, but for the most part, this government has run roughshod over the people of Saskatchewan, and it's our opinion that in many cases, your closeness and your connections to the Sask party donor list seem to really play a big role in how much work you actually get in this province from this government. And this was just one of those examples. The Sask party was actually was one of the best opposition parties that I think we've ever seen. They, with their numbers and with a majority NDP government, they they could take the smallest item and just make it into a huge issue. The current opposition in the legislature doesn't seem to have that ability. And unfortunately, what that has done is left this government very open to do whatever they care to do without a whole lot of concern. And that's been a problem in this province for a number of years now. Just the opposition's inability to hold them accountable. They claim that I've questioned the NDP on this in the past, and they say, oh well, we're not in a majority on any of the committees in the House, blah blah blah. But having said that, the Sask party was in the same boat back when the Spudgo thing was going, and everybody knew what Spudgo was about. It was paled in comparison to what happened here with the GTH and with the bypass. But everybody knew about it. I talk to people nowadays that quite frankly, they have no idea that there was the shenanigans that went on with the bypass. It's again, I spoke to you earlier about how it seems this government got a mulligan, and really the NDP has enabled them with this. It's a nice piece of highway. There's no doubt about it. If we spent $2 billion on it, it better be, I guess, is what you say when you kind of get handed the short end of the stick. But I was driving on the weekend in the Rosetown district on number 7 highway. There's a big sign proclaiming that they're twinning the number 7 highway, and the cost of it is $70 million. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a longer stretch. It doesn't have interchanges and everything, but it's just a fraction of that $2 billion price tag. And it makes you wonder, where did the extra money go? I mean, you can't extrapolate. You can't set those two side by side and say, yeah, this makes sense. So it truly illustrates to me just how out of proportion the spending was on the bypass, and it's incredible. To me, it just comes down to government transparency on these matters, and go beyond the spin when you're looking at projects like this, because there's been spin, and the government, like I said earlier, it's a nice piece of highway, but it came at an incredible price. This was a $2 billion decision, a very expensive project. Taxpayers' dollars are always precious. We should always be able to show accountability as to where and how this money was spent, and that the processes used were fair and equitable to all the parties involved.